Former Kentucky State Representative Charles Booker, Democrat, launched an exploratory committee Monday to examine the possibility of challenging Senator Rand Paul, Republican of Kentucky, for the state's U.S. Senate seat as Paul faces re-election next year. In a video announcement Monday morning, Booker put Paul on notice with the declaration, "We will transform Kentucky," and Rand Paul, "You know it too." Let me see. Okay. In a statement to local news station WBKO, Booker added, "Even in the historic, unprecedented public health and economic crisis, most of our politicians couldn't be bothered to do anything, voting against survival checks for working families and trying to take away our health care in order to give our money away to wealthy campaign donors. Kentuckians deserve a senator who will fight as hard for us as we fight for each other. And that's why I'm formally announcing an exploratory committee for U.S. Senate." Booker rose to national prominence after a long shot bid to win the state's Democratic U.S. Senate primary in 2018, ended in a narrow defeat to Amy McGarth, Democrat, who went on to be handedly defeated by Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell that November. Booker's message so far is centered on the theme of racial and economic justice, with references to the ongoing hardships of the COVID-19 pandemic and tensions resulting from the deaths of Black Americans and encounters with police. In a statement to WBKO, a spokesperson for Paul contended that Kentuckians would reject Booker's campaign platform. "Kentuckians know there is no greater champion for the values they hold dear than Dr. Rand Paul. And like President Trump stated in his recent endorsement, Dr. Paul has a proven record of fighting the liberal Washington agenda. Kentuckians don't want to defund the police, to ban the lawful ownership of guns, or Nancy Pelosi's Green New Deal," said the spokesperson. So originally I was going to read the first part of the article and then give my opinion. I just want to address what Paul's spokesman said because it annoyed me. So like when he says that Kentuckians expect, Rand to fight to be their greatest champion for their values they hold dear. That's the usual fluff piece you'll get any campaign spokesman to say for a politician they're, defending. The liberal Washington agenda. I don't remember this particular Democrat, referring to Booker, not Cory Booker, Charles Booker, ever saying that he wanted to defund the police. In fact, there are a lot of Democrats that don't want to defund them. I don't know any Democrats, other than maybe O'Rourke, that want to ban lawful ownership of guns. To this day, I can't remember a single Democrat, even the most progressive ones like AOC, saying let's revoke the Second Amendment. I've heard of ones who want to pass background checks so that, it's a little bit harder for certain psychopaths to get weapons and do evil things to people. But I don't know what they're talking about when they say ban the lawful ownership of guns. And when he says Nancy Pelosi's Green New Deal, Pelosi is the same clown that referred to the Green New Deal as the Green Dream or whatever. But this is her Green New Deal. This spokesman literally links a policy with Pelosi that she couldn't even remember the name of. Anyways, now that we've addressed that. So I've said before, Rand is one of the few Senate Republicans that I like to an extent. I agree with him on a lot of international issues, and I would much rather see McConnell be removed than Rand. I think he's very good on a lot of foreign policy stuff, and that means something to me. So unless Booker comes out and says, "Hey, I'm for ending this war and that war," because he doesn't really talk about foreign policy as far as I'm aware, I'm not really excited. But the other reason I'm not excited is this is kind of analogous to what happened with Sanders in 2016 and 2020, where there was this idea that after Democrats lost with their purported moderate candidate, they would try someone who was more to the left and be willing to go further with a person that has positions that are more aligned with, the party's base than just, some centrist person, only for the same thing to happen again with Biden. In the case of Booker, while I do believe he could possibly beat Rand in a general election, albeit narrowly, I don't see where you would get him to beat whoever runs against him in the primary. Because unfortunately, a lot of these voters have shown that they're willing to keep picking the same people of the same positions. And I just can't be optimistic. If he were to run and win the primary, then I would go, yeah, this is going to be so great. But just based off of what we've seen so far with the repeated patterns of Democrats picking these moderates that get smashed by Republicans like McGrath and McConnell, or Hillary and Trump, or, just, I can't be excited, and it sucks. I think Booker is a good candidate. So I hope that he, if he runs, is able to beat whoever runs against him in the primary. But until then, we're going to hear more slanderous nonsense like Nancy Pelosi's Green New Deal. Imagine saying someone is championing a policy they can't even remember the name of.